Ex-NFL exec confirms disconnect between Shedeur Sanders and NFL teams as Giants star criticizes QB's fall. Rewind the clock to a couple of months ago, and Shedeur Sanders was being hailed as a possible top 2 choice. Then, speculations put him at the deep end on day one. The stats? For 1,134 yards, 37 touchdowns, and 74% completion rate, certified QB1 material. Scouts, however, weren't impressed by the spreadsheet. When the draft finally arrived, there were 4 rounds of silence as he sat and watched 144 players get selected before him. It wasn't a party when the Cleveland Browns called his name. It was a chilly and uncomfortable wake-up call, because rumors had already begun to escalate into full-fledged roasts behind the scenes. Scouts described him as entitled and uncoachable. Former NFL executive Andrew Brandt revealed the worst truth of all as a result of all of this. Perhaps Shedeur did not fall. Perhaps the media just got it all wrong from the start. Andrew revealed the truth about Shedeur Sanders' startling decline on the draft board in the most recent episode of The Business of Sports. The disconnect between how the media saw Shedeur Sanders and how NFL teams saw Shedeur Sanders was as big as we've ever seen in the history of the draft, Brandt said. Sanders woke up Saturday morning still undrafted, despite the expectations of most observers that he would go off the board Thursday or Friday night. The Cleveland Browns didn't decide until they selected number 144 in the 5th round. That wasn't a slide, Brandt said. For many NFL teams, it was always the plan. That's the story. There's no story that he fell. The story is he was picked where everyone in the NFL thought he'd be picked. When he was picked, Brandt went on. He disclosed that league sources texted him with the identical response soon after Sanders was chosen. That's about right. This has nothing to do with a poorly executed draft or an overlooked assessment. Many scouts and executives believe that Shedeur would never make it on day 1 or day 2. The media's fabrication of his alleged decline was a hype bubble that never reflected the reality at the front office. Brandt made it clear that Sanders was only considered a mid-round quarterback and not the face of a team in the future. No warning signs. No plot. Just chilly assessments. Though not everyone agrees with that assessment, Giants rookie torches NFL for disrespecting Shedeur Sanders. Malik Neighbors, the New York Giants' number 6 overall pick, flat out disagrees. In his opinion, Sanders getting taken in the 5th round wasn't business. It was disrespect. There's no way in hell Shedeur should have gone in the 5th round. Neighbors stated Sanders' reputation may have suffered as a result of an alleged unpleasant meeting between him and head coach Brian Daboll at the Giants, who passed on him to select Jackson Dart at number 25. Neighbors spoke candidly about it, implying that the review procedure might have placed too much emphasis on personal feelings. You can't knock his talent. Some things you just can't knock, Neighbors added. We gotta stop making feelings with how people play that linger. Yeah, he might have some things he says off the field, but that don't have to do with how he plays football, that it's also more than simply verbal praise. Before the draft, Neighbors and Sanders played catch in New York City, where Neighbors got a close-up look at the arm talent. He was not the only one who was taken aback. A growing number of fans and players believe that Shedeur's personality, his confidence, or even his media presence may have scared off teams more than his game tape did. However, none of that should take precedence over what occurs on the field, according to Neighbors, and Sanders might not get an immediate opportunity to prove it because the Browns already have a number of quarterbacks, including Deshaun Watson, Kenny Pickett, Joe Flacco, and now Dylan Gabriel. But if and when he does, his eventual rise might not just rewrite his draft narrative. It could expose the very same disconnect Brandt pointed out. Cleveland radio goes off on Shedeur Sanders' attention-seeking behavior after Brown's rookie attended local school. Shedeur Sanders has to work extra hard if he wants to salvage his reputation. He slid so hard in the NFL draft that even the fans are doubting his true abilities. With each passing day, new stories are coming out that paint him as a low-ceiling QB. Ex-NFLer Ross Tucker told Dan Patrick how he failed to interview the Colorado QB despite 3 attempts. It planted the seeds of doubt in NFL agents and scouts. Now, the Browns are helping him with PR, trying to present him as humble. Well, humble enough. Albert Breer discusses Browns and Giants QB rooms in the heart of Cleveland, where football is more than just a game. A new chapter is unfolding. Shedeur Sanders has arrived with a mission that transcends the gridiron. Just days after being drafted by the Browns, Sanders made an unannounced visit to John Marshall High School, aiming to inspire the next generation. His message was clear. "I'm trying to bring Cleveland a Super Bowl," he declared to the students, emphasizing the importance of purpose and community engagement. However, not everyone in Cleveland approves of these moves. The hosts of ESPN Cleveland Radio roasted the quarterback. Aaron Goldhammer started trolling the rookie after the Browns posted photos from his trip to John Marshall High School. He said, "I would have preferred that if he was going to go and talk to a bunch of high school kids. Then you don't post it on social media 5 seconds after the thing was over." His co-host Tony Rizzo blamed the franchise for creating such a scenario and said, "The Browns do it every time. Every charity thing they do on Tuesdays, the player day off, they do a video of it. It's simply their way of promoting Shedeur Sanders. Now that they have drafted him, they want him to scale up his commercial value and fan appeal." However, Goldhammer argued, "I felt like it was him screaming, 'See, look how good a person I am. I went to a school. Then I worked out. I am doing all the right things.'" Their co-host, Chris Oldak, tried to defend the rookie signal caller. He replied, "I want you to blast every rookie this year that goes to visit a sick kid in a hospital." The Colorado QB is fighting a perception war. He initially presented himself as a confident player in direct competition with Cam Ward, who was drafted first overall by the Titans. Moreover, he also boasted about being from the Sanders clan. All these things forced Jackhammer to reply, "He's not every rookie. The Browns are the ones posting that stuff, not the individual players." While Shedeur will need to perform on the gridiron to really become the hero that he wants to be, he is trying to cultivate a good image. It starts with capturing the minds and attention of the young children. Shedeur Sanders meets children at Cleveland High School. Shortly after arriving in Cleveland, the Browns rookie headed to John Marshall High School, 6 miles from the Browns complex in Berea, Ohio. The fifth-round pick, 144th overall, talked to the students in the cafeteria, revealing his secrets and answering their questions. It was mostly about staying locked in on their dreams and making good decisions. While talking about the session with kids, Shedeur Sanders sawed, "Whatever situation they're in, that's really where I feel like I have the most impact on, is really the kids and giving them a different perspective of respect parents, respect their elders, and respect those people that are in position to give you advice. One thing that kids can definitely learn from the quarterback is staying positive under pressure." While the teams ignored him and he got prank called as well, the QB never lost hope. In fact, the Browns posted a video on April 30th showing their GM, Andrew Berry, talking to the 23-year-old about working hard. "His destiny is in his own hands now. Whatever situation they're in, that's really where I feel like I have the most impact on, is really the kids and giving them a different perspective of respect parents, respect their elders, and respect those people that are in position to give you advice. One thing that kids can definitely learn from the quarterback is staying positive under pressure." While the teams ignored him and he got prank called as well, the QB never lost hope. In fact, the Browns posted a video on April 30th showing their GM, Andrew Berry, talking to the 23-year-old about working hard. "His destiny is in his own hands now.